G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. This will be my Knackers Yard. I've got a bit of space that I've pushed blue out just to give me a bit of room because I'm kind of working in tiny spaces. What's going to be going on? Well, the dog's had a haircut, haven't you, lady? Quite an extreme haircut, look at that. She was so matted. She looks like a lurcher now. Skinny runt, but she's helping me out. And in the corner of your screen there, you would have seen seats. Now I've had a weird week working from home mostly, predominantly because my eldest was on work experience and easy to bouncing around, and my employer's awesome and let me do it. So I've been doing bits and pieces. Now I left you, it was looking fairly ropey. Now it's got paint on it rather than it's painted, if you see my point. First time I've done this, I was getting quite disheartened because you could see every single flaw, every hole, every this, that and the other. Chucked on filler and paint to make me the wider I am. And I really wanted to see how it's looking, and actually I'm quite happy. Now I don't think I put I certainly hadn't put the slots in, but I hadn't put in the the battery box. I've got a little tang at the back to hang the starter solenoid on. I realise I haven't drilled a hole for the starter solenoid yet, but that was effectively a couple of cheapy hinges on the sheet. Well, sorry, did the whole sheet to start with, then put the hinges on. No, I didn't actually. Did it as one sheet, so a sheet from there, because that's as far as it was, sheet from there to there. Then bent the sheet in, then cut the notches, then welded the hinges in, and then cut the hatch afterwards to get it out. Now there's a bigger dip at the back there. That is purely and simply because I can't find a sheet of metal to show you. But what I'm going to go for is, you know, the base of the seat itself. Have it with a slot, so it'll slot in there. And then the locking mechanism at the front, so slot back, push down, lock, and it'll hold it in place. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's the first time I've done this. I'm learning as I go, but actually I think it looks pretty good. I've sunk in the igniter unit. That's fine. I haven't bolted it in yet. The fuse box. The new and improved fuse box is in. Oh, you got it. There we go. So that's all wired out to replace that glass fuse box. The other bit that I did, I bought a tail tidy unit because it's the pain in the arse of having to hang a number plate. Now I bought a tail tidy unit. It's the same one I used on Tango, on the Phaser. They're only cheapy Chinese ones. They're really, really, you know, adjustable. But I couldn't get it to adjust to the angle I need for this. It just wouldn't fricking work. I might have one more go, but I just couldn't. Didn't work. So what I've done is I've made one. I made one. It's rough sheet. I've ordered the rear light / down light. The light on that is just a number plate light, which is shite rather than having a brake light. It's quite a big boy. It hasn't arrived yet, so I haven't painted this yet. So what I'm going to do is just go for that. Which you can see there, not too bad. And then a couple of L pieces for the indicators once I've decided what I'm after. Yeah, so on the seat itself, I need to make a tray of some variety to put the foam on. I've got the foam over here. Oh, I think I'm going to use, not quite wide enough, but I'll find a way. What's that dog doing? There's a fox den under there somewhere. I think she's searching. Yeah. So I need a tray to mount that on. Now I can either go for a plastic one and try and mould it in, which yeah, I don't really know how to do, or I have in my Garage of Delights a fiberglass kit. I can't remember what I bought this for. So I've got some fiberglass trucks down that, 5 square metres, well, 4 layers maybe. I can't find the instructions, I've lost them. I've had this for ages, I can't remember what I bought it for. It's just a cheap eBay kit with the resin, the activator, / hardener. So yeah, if I'm short of matting, because I don't think there's probably not enough to get a decent layer there, I thought, denim. I've no idea if it's going to work, but if I've got more resin than I've got fiberglass, which I think I might have, then I might go for a bit of retro denim on top just to strengthen it up a little bit. It's only an under tray, it's going to have foam on top of it, it's going to be sandwiched around, etc. So I'm not really too fussed one way or another. Now, I can't do that until my seat lock's here. Now that should arrive today, it should arrive any time now really, and that's to sink in the seat lock there, which will give it a bit more of a recess, a bit more of a dare I say it, fit, but we shall see one way or t'other. So while I'm waiting on that, I might just bolt that in. My other thought was the regulator rectifier, which you can just see loitering with intent underneath, has got to go somewhere. I think I'm going to bolt it to the bottom of this tray. I think that's where it's going to go, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to find some bolts, get him bolted in, make sure that I can reach through the big hole to the cabling, get that through in and stuck. Well, not stuck, I just want to make sure it fits more than anything else. Yeah, and I think we're there. One of you guys was talking about, having about battery box entry from the back. I could do, but I'm going to have to hinge somewhere. Hinges are ugly, the process is ugly, my handiwork is ugly. My view is if I can hide it under a foam seat, why wouldn't I? So that's why I went down that route. But, it works. Well, I think it works. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's not... It's the first time I played doing this. And I'm pleased with the results so far. What I've also done is jacked up the adjustable suspension up to the top, just to give me as much room as I can play with at the back. Throughout all of this, while I'm waiting for that, because that's going to take 24 hours to cure, etc., I'll take the carbs off. The float bowls, I've still got 2 trapped drain plugs. I need to get those out. I've got replacements. I'm going to have to try and manhandle those out today as well. One final bit of update. Wait, lady. Oh, you're right there. She's on a wander. One final bit is, you may notice I've got pods. I've got a pod. I chucked it on to see what it looks like, and I think the answer to that is pretty cool. Now these are being careful not to display my address. Pipe across. So I've gone for top of the middle rather than top end. Still more than I've ever spent on pods. This was, I think, 65 quid for 4. But just have a look at them. This is, and this is to address, Charlie brought it up, and I know several of you are thinking of it. No bike ever runs as well on pods as it does on an airbox, and I've experienced that. Now, that is a cheap Chinese one. That's what I know as a pod. So it's got some tin in there where I've restricted it, and that's just rubber around the edges. It's going to leak like a sieve. It's going to block all the air. If you look at this, by comparison, so foam on the outside, fine, but it's proper filter material, it's, you know, moulded rubber rather than, you know, plugged in. That is all one piece. It's got to be a better option. So chuffed with the purchase, albeit more than I would generally spend, but I think time will tell. I think the problem with pods is if you buy cheap shit ones, frankly. So we'll experiment with that together, shall we? Right, I'm gonna have a bit of a hack around, take the bits and pieces apart, take the seat off for the moment, take the tank off, get these carbs off, and see if I can get those bowls squared away. And I need to have a look at the float heights as well, because that was a good suggestion as to why I might be revving too fast. Let's get on with that. Right, a bit of a pregnant pause there. Daddy juices and ferrying kids around. I've got the carbs off, just leaving them to drain. I'll have a look at those. But the postage bean, I have my seat mechanism. The intention here is mounted on the seat, through and out and down somewhere, but effectively it's just a spring mechanism. I think this is a Triumph. Oops, it's a Triumph 800, I think, but effectively pulley, go. So if I do that and push that down, yeah, there we go, it's a bit better. So if I have it like that, and it means the seat will push down, if I'm clever, on a spike of some variety, like that, ideally with a spring and a washer on it, so it'll bounce when you pull the lever and it'll just lock it down. So what I need to do is not just dump my tools down, to stick them where they should go, because I'll lose them. I am literally going to pass the step at the bottom, so somewhere there, cut round, cut a hole out, drill a hole for the actual unit to come through. See how we go. Go on with that. Right, so I've just boxed around a bit of a shape. I'm not a health and safety guru, however, I have got my ear defence on because it's fucking loud. I'm going through these blades like no one's business. And there we go, 1x seat locking mechanism from a Triumph. But so I've got it mounted quite high, so effectively I'm going to have, let me find a something, a something, so a something in fact if I've got a bigger one, might be able to actually demonstrate. Big old Allen key. There we go, and I've got a locking mechanism just by yanking on the cable at the moment. And if I'm clever and can put a spring and a washer on it, it might actually jump itself up a little bit as well. Right, that's cool. Now, trying to explain what I was talking about before so it'll make a little bit more sense. What I've effectively got now is, once I've made this base, is a mechanism that will have a sheath on the end like a screwdriver, like be a long flat bit. If you push in, lock, and then push down at the front and it'll lock it in. And it'll hold it all in one place. That's the plan. Right. I need to work out how to do fiberglassing. Oh, I love doing new stuff, it's great. Right. Bit of messing around, a bit of family stuff. So back in, and that tries to fiberglass. What could possibly go wrong? So I've got cling film over the actual basis so it doesn't stick, which seems to be at the top tip. I've torn the matting rather than cut it because the ragged edge is supposed to give it a better chance. Time will tell. We'll see. I've got a flat bucket down here to kind of soak my bits beforehand. Soak your bits. I've emptied the 2-part container, one into there. I'm about to put the other one in. If it's anything like any other element, it needs a good stir, so I've made something up. Like I say, I don't know about measures because I've lost the instructions. I could probably look them up again, but frankly I've got this stuff and I've got the other stuff. How complicated can it be? That's last words. I've also got colour paint brushes to squidge it down as well. So let's give it a go and see what happens, shall we? Frankly, I'm going to end up fast forwarding you through a lot of this. Right, I think that's as mixed as I can get it. I can't quite get all of this in shot, but we'll do what we can do. I'm just going to go for a couple of sheets at a time, just to try and keep one permanently soaking. Grab my paintbrush and just give it a go. Like I say, I've probably got people shouting. I've probably got people shouting at the screen, saying, "That's not how you do it. Now you do it this way." Brill, please teach me. I've not done this before. It is all a learning experience, and the only crime is not learning from experience and repeating mistakes. But in my humble opinion, got to give these things a go. God, it's really gloopy. I'm getting high as a kite already. Probably should be wearing some sort of respirator, but I am in as open as I can be, i.e. open garage, etc, etc. Right, the second bit of matting there is collecting all the spare for the top one. That folded on itself, you bastard. No, it's not. Right. I can see this destined to go everywhere, and I can see myself destined to be covered from head to toe in fiberglass. But that's a part of the fun, isn't it? Isn't it? This cheap work, mate, is godsend. I said what I could do with. Getting rid of my little mat underneath. You fiberglass up my paintbrush now because I'm an idiot. Right, this is super messy. This is great fun. Kids would love this. Who am I kidding? My kids would love it. I'm loving this. So I've got 2 bits of matting in, one at the bottom to soak anything that's falling from the top. Got them halfway through my liquid already. I'm massively overdoing it, so I'm going to do a bit lighter on this one. My concern on this is it's going to be really thin when it comes to attempting to staple into it with a cover. I might have to get some more just to bolster it up. I don't know. You know, I do not know. I'm doing this for the first time. I wonder if it might be useful to cover it. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And just stick some straps around it just to hold it in place. Right, there we go. Wrapped up and curing. I've no idea if this is going to work, people, but fuck, it's got to be worth a go, isn't it? Like I say, I'm really not fussed if the denim sticks. That's not the point. It's all going to get covered up. It's all going to get layered on top and everything else. That's absolutely fine. It's just to try and squish it, because I don't think I've really got enough resin to do what I was trying to do. Really enough. Well, there probably was enough, but I put way too much on to start with. My fault. Mea culpa. Right, that's got 24 hours to cure, so I'll make you wait and see what it looks like, if indeed it looks like anything, or if indeed I just end up to fashioning one out of plastic. We shall see. Cheers all, catch you later.